It's 2018, I'm 32 years old, and I had just moved from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. to marry the love of my life. And we had just an amazing wedding ceremony in D.C., and shortly after we had this just awesome honeymoon traveling throughout Croatia and Eastern Europe. And we were riding really high. We felt good about life. But then we settled into our routine. We were living just outside of D.C. My wife was commuting into DC and I was working from home. And I have this love-hate relationship with DC. I always tell people DC is a great place to visit, to be a tourist, but it's a terrible place to live. The first two questions anyone asks you is generally, where do you work and who do you know? So I'm coming from this culture in Minnesota where it's about we, us, a shared experience, to DC where it's about I and what I can gain from you. That's what I felt like anyway. And it reminds me of the scene from the movie Dumb and Dumber where Lloyd Christmas comes out of 7-Eleven and he sees the two guys standing in the parking lot and he's like, hey guys, big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. I always felt like in DC, I was the guy in the parking lot drinking the big gulps and DC was Lloyd Christmas just blowing by me. All right, see you later. And I had a hard time with that because when you don't feel like you fit in somewhere, it's hard to live in that atmosphere. My wife was being considered for a number of positions in our company, most of which were based in or right around DC. If she gets one of those, we're probably gonna be in DC for years. And I felt conflicted because on the one hand, I wanted to be a supportive husband. I wanted to support her in her career. On the other hand, I didn't want to get stuck in DC forever. And I felt like I was almost reaching a breaking point. I didn't like where we were living, the culture, not seeing my wife during the day. And so I did what I should have done originally, and I went to God. And for me, I wanted to talk to God, but I also knew that it was more about listening in that moment. And what he told me, or what I heard was, Joe, just wait. And I remember it was like it was yesterday. It was random Tuesday, and my wife calls me up in the afternoon. She's like, I just got on the interstate. And traffic, it's a nightmare. It's a parking lot. I'm not gonna be home for at least 2 hours. And generally after she's been in traffic for 2 hours, she's a zombie. And rightfully so, anyone would be after being in traffic for 2 hours. But this time she came up and she had a smirk on her face and she was holding something. And I said, why are you so happy? You were just in a parking lot for the last 2 hours. And she said, I just found out I got a job. But it's not in DC, it's in Philadelphia, and we're moving this summer. And she handed me the pretzel. And I looked at it and I just remember feeling this overwhelming joy. So not only did my wife get the position, but we found the hospital that we wanted to go to. We found a pediatrician that is just a 5-minute walk from our house, who is the best pediatrician we could have ever hoped for. And all these things started to add up, and we felt like it was God inspired. Like he was like, not only am I blessing this path, but here you go. Like all the things that you could worry about when you move to a new city, I'm kind of removing those worries. So now looking back on my life and having time to reflect, I can see that in these really important life-changing moments that I've had, and that would be right up there, transition from DC to Philadelphia. I can see firsthand that God had an instrumental part in shaping and guiding our path. And had I just continued on trying to do it myself and trying to chart my own course, I don't think I would be where I'm at today. I know we wouldn't be in Philadelphia. We wouldn't be, feel as blessed as we have to be in this community and feeling like we're really a part of the city. And we really owe it all to God and His guidance in our life. And I'm very, very thankful, and I feel blessed to have the Lord watching over us.